What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. We'll have Emilio joining us shortly. I'm not sure if Tim will be with us tonight. He may be on the road to Milwaukee, but I know we'll have him back in a day or two if he is already on his way down there. So tonight we got an awesome show for you guys and gals. We're going to be giving you a Christian Watson update. Looked really good at practice today, just cut and run, and we got a little bit of video from that. Also, we're going to talk about this left tackle battle, which we talked about several weeks before camp started. Caught a little birdie from, you're hearing Brian Balaga talk about it, Mark Tauscher talk about it. I was thinking, I don't know if there's really going to be a position battle at left tackle. Seems like that's cranked up. We'll give you everything we know on that. Brinson Stackhouse, another couple guys that are starting to turn heads a little bit. The Georgia boys, Georgia defensive linemen, will hit on them. And then we'll just run through everything in kind of chronological order from the 7th day of practice out there at training camp, where it was another hot one, it sounded like. But before we do that, if you guys would, let's get that YouTube stuff out of the way. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. We appreciate you making us a part of your evening. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're just fans like you in here talking Packers on the daily. We'll be bringing you pregame shows, postgame shows, film breakdown, basically daily content. And we love to do our content live. So it's just kind of, hey, you're hanging out at the bar, having a daddy soda or a Diet Coke, whatever it is you prefer, talking ball with the boys, as opposed to let me edit this video so I sound absolutely perfect. So, again, just hit that subscribe button. We appreciate y'all making us a part of your evening. We got King Tron in the house, been a member here on YouTube for 7 months. He's keeping the lights on with that membership. Appreciate you, buddy. I've missed y'all, and always like and sub. Go Pack, go. Thank you so much, Tron. We appreciate that. Jacob, how you doing, man? You ready to talk some ball tonight?
I'm very ready to talk some ball, Clayton. I have maybe a couple things. I don't know how you want to get started or if we have some time towards the end or whatever, but I watched a couple interviews today and learned a few stats from them, and I just thought there was some very interesting tea to spill, if you will.
Okay, cool. Why don't let me forget, okay? And at the end, let's run through those, okay? And if for some reason it makes sense for you to hit on that at any specific segment, just fire away there, okay? But let's dive into this, man. Christian Watson conversation. Really excited about this. I don't know. Did you see this video? This came out from Sleeper Packers account. Really, really cool account. I don't know who's running that over there on X. They're doing a phenomenal job, though, man, giving us great content, great coverage from training camp. Did you see this video on Christian Watson, Jacob, by chance?
I did not. Nope.
All right, let's hit it here. I'm going to try to mute it real quick if I can. And you guys let me know in the chat, is that choppy or not? And I can't put it on repeat, so I'll just play it over and over. Does that look pretty clear to you, Jacob?
It looks pretty clear. The first one had a little chop, but now it looks like it's running smooth.
Look at our boy, man. Does he not look good? Does he not look smooth here? Right?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So really, really excited to see him continue.
I would not expect him to be making moves like that.
Yeah, definitely. So Matt Schneiden put a tweet out, said we're not allowed to shoot rehabbing players, but Christian Watson's cutting pretty sharply and running quite fast on the sidelines. So obviously some people are breaking the rules, and it is what it is, right? But really cool that Matt Schneiden put that tweet out. I've seen a couple other people comment on it that were at practice today. They seem to be really, really impressed with the progress that Christian Watson's making. I also seen this tweet from Dave Schroeder. I hope I'm saying that name right. Christian Watson hit 22 miles per hour running sprints in his rehab. Today at Packers camp, Watson was really cutting it loose running sprints as he continues to rehab from ACL surgery. Asked him how fast the GPS tracker said he was running, 22 miles per hour. He says his career best is 23. So he's closing in on his top speed when he's fully hit. If you're running 22 miles per hour, Jacob, bro, you're pushing that thing to the limit. Now, it's the cutting ability, obviously straight line. That's a little bit different than cutting, which we've seen on that video. To me, you look like he's probably 50, maybe 65% pace there on that cut. But what do you think about Christian so far, man? Do you think we see him before November 1st, or do you think it's going to be after November, man?
I think we will see him before that. Maybe I'm a homer, but the way that he's running, the way that he seems like he's comfortable planting that foot, and the way that, I don't know, just so fast, even him riding the bikes, if there was an injury that they were really worried about, something like, that Ja or Bach had, I don't think they'd be letting him do any of this stuff I think that they're very comfortable with the way that he's rehabbing, and it's pretty phenomenal to see he's already running 22 miles per hour.
Yeah, definitely. And then I pulled this from July 27th, which I think this is so important, man, that Christian hasn't missed anything, man. He's been right there every step of the way. They got a couple of young receivers that stepped into camp that we pretty much know are going to make the roster barring any crazy injury. But Sleeper Packers tweeted this out, said this was on July 27th. I've noticed in the first week of camp that Christian Watson's been very involved. Here's suited up and staying by his group of wide receivers, even though he's not fully practicing yet. Not saying he'll be ready week one, but this says a lot about his commitment to his recovery and this team. That's been the biggest thing that's really stood out to me, Jacob, is the fact that he's been working so closely with this wide receiver group. And to me, you got to take that into account when you're looking to potentially extend Christian Watson, right? I mean, obviously, we got to make sure the knee checks out once he's back on the field. Okay, yeah, it's good. There's no lingering effects. You don't run into a situation like you did with Bakhtiari. You don't run into a situation like you did with Jair Alexander. Make sure he's fully healthy. But there's some added value to re-signing a guy that is this kind of team player, too, that just wants to be around the facility, wants to be around the guys, even though he can't fully participate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that actually was the point that I was going to make, is that that's the type of person if you have to decide between 2 or 3 contracts of a certain positional group, like the wide receiver room, that you want to extend one of them, that's going to absolutely give that guy an edge, I believe. And I don't know how you could ask more of Christian Watson. And I think it honestly is because his dad was a pro and probably told him how to handle situations of adversity like this. And I just think that I just feel like that he'll be a Packer in the future. I really do.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Now, we got a little bit of news going on across the league here. I'm sure you've seen this too, Jacob. But Terry McLaurin has officially requested a trade. How would we feel about trading Dobbs and a draft pick or two to the Commanders? I know it's highly unlikely to happen, though. Just want y'all's thoughts. LOL. So that was Aaron Rodgers' agent. Thank you so much for asking that question, man. For me, it's real simple. I'm not interested in Terry McLaurin. The reason that he's holding out and requesting a trade, or holding in, whatever you want to call it, is because he's wanting top receiver money, right? He's wanting that, probably 30 to 40 million per range. And I'm not sure how old he is now, Jacob. He's got to be closing in on 30. It feels like he's been in the league for a while now. I don't want to upset what we got going on here, man. If it was, hey, he would agree to play for 1 year and we could give up a 5th round pick for him, absolutely. I would do that in a heartbeat. But to me, it just feels like it's not worth it there to try to tie yourself to an aging receiver, albeit he's been great and he hasn't shown any decline to the best of my knowledge right now. But what do you think about that question there about Terry McLaurin? For me, it's a no.
Yeah, Coach Lynn's saying he's almost 30. Pretty sure that's pretty accurate. No, I don't need to pick up anybody, any free agent wide receiver that has any sort of issue or baggage, especially when this wide receiver room, we've spent a lot of draft capital on it. We have a lot of guys that absolutely are fan favorites and a lot of talent, to the point where I think some of our UDFAs could be number 2s and number 3s on some teams. I really do. So I don't want to invite any kind of more drama, because you bring a guy like that in, there's not going to be a contract that any of the other guys are going to think is fair that I would want to pay him. I don't think that McLaurin's going to take whatever pay cut that he'd have to take for it to even seem logical. And I don't want to trade draft picks. I just never want to do that for a wide receiver. Yeah. At least now.
Right. And I'm not saying that's a silly question by no stretch of the imagination. Please don't take that the wrong way, whoever it was that asked that. No. I'm just simply saying, for me, it would be a no. Unless you could get a 1-year rental and pay darn near nothing. But I think what the Commanders are probably looking to do is they're looking to hold on to him. They're going to hold his feet to the fire, just like they are with our boy Trey Hendrickson up there in Cincinnati, right? Which you guys seen him buckle. That happened. He's in camp now. He put up that big dramatic Instagram post like he's back in Florida. Now all of a sudden he's back back in camp holding in. So I think he's about to cave in and just show up and play ball, I believe. So, all right, man. Anything else on Christian Watson, Jacob? Anything at all on the receivers? Anything like that?
No, but I am just honestly really proud of how well he has taken this adversity and turned it into like a teaching moment. And for him, I think that honestly, the way he's handled himself is catapulting him to the top of guys that we probably need to re-sign.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that, man. All right, let's move it along. We have a little camp battle going on. Jacob, we got a battle at left tackle. And, man, you guys know how I feel about about position battles, competition. It drove me absolutely insane that it was just like we refused to bring in centers to compete with Josh Myers. It's just like, no, he's the starting center. He's the starting center. And now we find out that Elton Jenkins was telling the coaching staff last year, hey, let me play center. Let me play center so we can get this thing straightened out, right? And that's a bad look. If Elton Jenkins thought that, other people on that offense thought the same thing, even though I think Josh Myers was a good teammate. Now, Elton is now moved to center, right? And we haven't been able to see this battle for left tackle yet early in camp. Reason being is because Elton's been out, and you had Jordan Morgan having to play right guard while Sean Ryan filled in, obviously, at center. So now that Sean Ryan is back to right guard, we have Elton Jenkins in the center position. So now Jordan Morgan's a little more freed up to compete with Rasheed Walker at the left tackle position. So we just combed through a bunch of tweets, combed through a bunch of news to try to get some information on this left tackle battle here. So let's just dive into it. Jordan Morgan's role and background. Morgan, a first-round pick, has spent more time at guard than tackle so far, not due to performance issues, but because of injuries to other linemen creating openings at interior positions. His natural position is left tackle, where he played 2,392 of 2,404 college snaps at Arizona per PFF data. Morgan feels more comfortable at left tackle due to his extensive experience there. Key strengths include athleticism and ability to redirect pass rushers in space, which could set him apart in the competition. So the thing that sticks out to me, Jacob, is when you look at Rasheed Walker at left tackle, right? And what does he do well? He's a great pass blocker. Not so good in the run blocking category, right? Well, Jordan Morgan hasn't been on the field enough because of his injury he faced his rookie year to really see, is he going to be an upgrade over Rasheed Walker? So what I'm simply saying is, I'm not saying Jordan Morgan needs to start over Rasheed Walker. What I don't understand are the people who are anti a camp battle at left tackle. Why not see who's the better left tackle? It's only going to make Rasheed Walker raise his game up, and it's also going to give Jordan Morgan a little bit of experience of what it's like to be thrown into the fire, as opposed to, hey, you're going to be rotating at right guard all year with Sean Ryan like they did before he got hurt and before Jordan Morgan got hurt. So I love this idea of, hey, let's throw him right into that camp battle and try to get the best out of both of those players. How do you see that, man?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, obviously, if I would have had my way, I would have had Morgan coming in as a first-round pick and just absolutely blowing the socks off everybody, getting an immediate role. But I believe it was like Weston Hodquist on one of his latest podcasts was saying, on a lot of teams, if you spent that kind of draft capital, like on the first and second round with Belton, that they would have to plug them in right away. And what a luxury it is, the fact that the Packers have the option to get a guy like Walker to maybe play, even a guy like Ryan to maybe play. And then they can ease them in, and they actually can kind of flirt with the idea of, we can still extend Walker if we absolutely have to, if Morgan's just, not up to snuff. And the same thing at the guard position. We have multiple options there where we can decide, hey, is this guy worth extending and giving a contract, or do we have enough homegrown talent where we don't even have to worry about it, and we can actually skip the offensive line as a necessity going into next year's draft because we've been so good at it. So I think it's a great problem to have.
Yeah, definitely. H.E. Solder says, if Morgan is 90% of what you would get from Walker and Belton looks serviceable, do you move Walker? I don't like that idea personally, Solder, because, I mean, it depends on what the compensation is, right? Anyone can be bought. He's talking about moving. I'm assuming he's talking about trading. Let me read that again. If Morgan is 90% of what you would get from Walker and Belton, all right, looks serviceable, do you move Walker? If you're talking about moving Walker to another position, every offensive lineman that's come through Green Bay has got to be prepared to play multiple positions. I mean, they probably cross-train offensive linemen more than any other team in the league. How many times have we, laughed about how, well, they draft a tackle, he'll be playing guard, right? We've seen that over and over and over again. Now, if you're talking about trade, that's what he's saying. So he's saying trade, would you move him? It depends on the compensation. If I can get a third-round pick for Rasheed Walker, I'd be okay with it, because you did just spend a second-round pick on Belton, right? However, anything less than a third, man, I mean, again, why did we lose to Philly last year? right? We talked about how we got our asses kicked in the trenches, specifically on the offensive side of the ball, where one injury caused us to start a gentleman by the name or put a gentleman by the name of Travis Glover in at guard, where he played less than stellar, I believe, is what most people not named Emilio would say. So I like the idea of having that extra depth piece there. And also you give yourself a chance to potentially re-sign Rasheed Walker if he goes on and has a great year. If you get to week 6 or 7, Rasheed Walker has fought Jordan Morgan off at left tackle, right? And he's just absolutely dominant. His run blocking took a step forward. Who's to say we don't re-sign him and plan on moving on from Elton Jenkins since we didn't have to extend him? So that's kind of how I see it, Solder. Anybody can be bought, right? In a trade, if the compensation is good enough, absolutely. Especially last year of the contract, you don't plan on re-signing them. But, man, I just don't want to put ourselves in a similar situation like we were in the playoffs where obviously one injury and we're just in absolute turmoil. Although Emilio will probably disagree. How do you feel, though, Emilio, about that whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough situation to put him in, but I think that he can still excel. We just need to give him a better shot rather than the 13 snaps prior to throwing him in there. So
that's a fair point.
Yeah, and he's ready. You know, he knew that he kind of messed up. He wants to show and kind of prove his point and prove his worth to the team. He doesn't want to, leave that bad taste in the mouth. I love that. You got to keep grinding. You can't go back. I mean, he can't take those snaps back. So just keep moving forward and keep digging at it.
Yeah, to your point there, Emilio, William Herman in the chat says, imagine getting your first real playoff reps, having to block Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Milton Williams in a road playoff game. And that's such a great point. And by the way, it's NFL season when you start getting all these spams from watch NFL season live. We made it, baby. It's football season. It's football
time now.
Yeah, Golden Grams in the chat says Walker will command $20 million in free agency. I agree with that. At a minimum, probably. To be honest, if he hit the open market, he's probably going to get more than Tom. I know that sounds silly, but teams will overpay if somebody hits the open market. However, guess how much money we free up from Elton next year if we decide to move on? Over $20 million. So that money's there. It's sitting there next year. If Rasheed Walker balls out and you decide, all right, we're going to replace Elton with him, let's go draft a center or potentially kick Tom to center. Who knows what could happen there? I don't know how you feel about that, though, Jacob. What do you think? Is there a scenario where you could see Rasheed Walker getting extended, or you think he's just walking in free agency now?
Yeah, as much as I wish that he wouldn't walk, I do think that the Walker is going to end up walking, and the money's too good. And I think that, not that he's not a team player or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But, I mean, the difference of, I think there honestly could be a drastic difference for, like you said, a team that's desperate, that looks at what he is as a pass protector and just says, you know what, I'm willing to give him a certain bag, especially if it fits an offense that they're a more pass heavy offense. It just seems to me more logically that he's going to end up going somewhere.
Yeah. Let's get some quotes here coming out from offensive coordinators, different positions, offensive line coach, the whole 9 yards. So offensive coordinator Adam Stenavich on Jordan Morgan, quote, I like what I'm seeing from Jordan, and he's competing at the tackle spot and the guard spot, and he's looking pretty solid. Stenavich also said, again, I'm really excited from what he's shown on tape from both positions, guard and tackle. Offensive line coach Luke Butkus from OTAs said how athletic he is, how easy he moves, and how smooth it looks. I was just talking to Coach Gordon, and sometimes it looks like he's not straining or playing hard. I think it's just natural. It's easy for him to just move, to gain ground, to just skim the blades of the grass. It's effortless. So it's obvious that's what they've seen in him as his superpower, is that agility as a tackle. Factors limiting Morgan's tackle reps, however. You guys just keep swatting that spam down for me if you don't care. Try not to block a normal person, though, like I did that night. Injuries along the offensive line, such as Elton Jenkins' absence, moving Sean Ryan to center and opening right guard for Morgan, and Aaron Banks being out, leading to Morgan to fill in at left guard during Tuesday's practice. As the unit regains health, Stenavich expects to increase Morgan's reps at tackle to foster competition on the left side. Quote, on increasing competition, Stenavich said, we're kind of limited with Banks being out and Elton being out. We had to focus him more at guard, talking about Morgan, but we're going to work him in at tackle as much as possible just to get some competition out there on the left side and then just see how it goes. All right, now let's move on to Rasheed Walker's performance. Walker has not played poorly and has held the starting left tackle role for much of the past 2 seasons. Last season's stats allowed 3 sacks and 4 quarterback hits that ranked 45th out of 87 eligible tackles in PFF's pass blocking efficiency and 65th in run blocking grade. So that's the one aspect right there, Emilio, that we see. That doesn't look great. And again, it's not everything, right? But when you say, hey, look, you rank 45th out of 87 eligible tackles in PFF's pass blocking efficiency and then 65th in run blocking, I mean, that puts you at the halfway mark or even lower.
Right. Yeah, that's a problem. I mean, we do love Rasheed. His pass blocking, you would think, is there compared to these numbers, but he also takes some penalties that are rough. And thinking on the, him walking or not, wouldn't it be, if he does go in free agency, wouldn't we be getting a third for him? So, remember when you asked me that question the other night, either way, we're getting a third for him. I got to have a first or a second or something out of it if I'm moving on from him in season.
That's a great point. You got to wait an extra year for the third, but you make a great point.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Just, I mean, if we have a talented tackle, all right, fine, keep him in. We'll chase that Super Bowl this year, whatever. But, I got to have more than one pick. It's got to be more than a third for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if that's Jacob over there swatting that spam away, but
dude, this is ridiculous.
You're quick.
He's sitting there with the finger, giving him the waggle.
Yeah,
it sucks. It's all I can decide. Now they got me mad. It's like whack-a-mole.
All right, quote on Rasheed Walker. Stinovich said on Walker, he's had a really good camp. There's a lot of stuff we wanted to work with him in the offseason. And you could tell he made a conscious effort to come back, and he was in great shape. He looked great. He's playing hard, and he's competing, and I think he's doing a really good job. So there's nothing negative there. I've heard some people say he's having a bad camp. I haven't seen that personally, other than having to run a lap and having some choice words there on the practice field that we will. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so broader offensive line competition. Well, first of all, before we move on from the Rasheed Walker and the Jordan Morgan competition here, Jacob, is there anything else you want to add to that? How do you see it shaking out? Let me end it with that. I'll ask both of you guys that same question.
I think that this is going to be somewhat of another, I hate saying a red shirt year kind of thing, but more of just him kind of slowly understanding that he's going to take over the left tackle position for Morgan. And then if there is some sort of injuries, I think that he'll basically slide into whatever position they ask him to. And I do honestly believe that Walker will end up leaving, taking quite a bit of money. I mean, you saw what John Runyon got, you know what I'm saying? So if a guy that is a left tackle that is an absolute stud pass protector, I just feel like that's the writing on the wall. And that between the Belton and even Glover, between Belton, Glover, Morgan, John Williams, if there's another one in there somewhere, that could pop up and all of a sudden impress us, then, I just think that we're going to let him go. It just is going to happen.
Gotcha. All right. Emilio, how do you think it's going to shake out at left tackle before we move on to just a little bit more offensive line talk?
Yeah. Just when they approached last year where they had Sean Ryan and Morgan rotating before the injury, I don't know if they might do that to Rasheed, if they really want Walker to try to, or if they really want Morgan to try to chase that spot, they really might rotate that. But I don't know if that's going to be, Matt's forte. I think he would still probably rather, keep Walker there, rotate Morgan and Ryan and kind of keep those two moving. But we just need 5 on there that are going to build the wall in front of Jay Love. That's all I really care about. If it is Walker, if it's Morgan, who cares? We need to protect that man, protect Josh Jacobs.
Got it. All right. So broader offensive line competition as we round this out and move on to the next segment. No positions are locked in, including Sean Ryan at right guard. The Packers are embracing competition to identify their best starting 5, believing it will elevate everyone's performance. They're open to rotating 6 or 7 players during games if the competition extends into the regular season, prioritizing getting the best performers on the field. I know a lot of people don't like that. They're talking about you got to build chemistry, you got to get into a groove, this and that. I think there's something to be said for these heavy rotations, like on defense. One of the reasons, in my opinion, that Brenton Cox Jr.'s pressure rate was so high was he wasn't eating up a whole lot of snaps. Like, he's constantly fresh coming off the bench, right? The same thing can be said for the offensive line. You know what I mean? Like, I know people didn't like the Jordan Morgan, Sean Ryan rotation, but think about that. If you're a defensive tackle, you're playing 3-tech, and you have to go up against that guy, and you're getting dog ass tired. Now all of a sudden you look up and there's a dude whose jersey's not even sweaty. And you're like, all right, let me start trying to wear this guy down now, right? Like I think that's a real thing. I do. So United Bates. Jacob has 173 arcade tickets. Probably can get a small pack of Swedish fish now at the counter. Talking about smacking this whack-a-mole with the spam in the chat. Again, man, I love it. I know you're working your ass off over there, Jacob, but I love it. This means it's football season, man. You know, that's what it means. So, quote on overall competition, Stenovich, quote, I wouldn't say any of these guys have anything locked up right now, and I think that's one thing that is good about where we're at, because the competitiveness is going to bring out the best in everybody every day. So I don't know how it's going to shake out up front, but I am excited about just the possibilities and the options that we have for sure. So they're obviously going the competitive route. I love it. I think it's the right move. I really do. So I'm excited to see how all that shakes out. All right, let's move it along now. Next topic, the Georgia connection. All right. These two knuckleheads right here seem to be getting a little bit of attention, right? Warren Brinson and Nazir Stackhouse. So I thought let's throw a little bit of something together for everybody here and just kind of get you reacquainted with who they are. And I want to get your all's take. Do you think there's a chance? Let's start it with this before I dive into the information. I'll start with you, Jacob. Do you think there's a chance that both of these guys make the roster? Do you think they both make the 53-man roster? What's the chance that both Warren Brinson and Nazir Stackhouse make the 53-man roster?
Oh, boy. I'd love them to both make it. I don't know necessarily how that'd work. Wouldn't that mean we'd have to lose either Brooks or Wooden, most likely?
I think so. That's what we kind of came up with. Yeah, there's the defensive depth chart. So you're looking at Kenny Clark, Devontae White, Carl Brooks, Kobe Wooden. Then it would be Warren Brinson and Nazir Stackhouse, in my opinion. So if you're going to carry them all, it'd be 6 unless we break camp with 5. In that case, you're right. It would come down to Carl Brooks or Kobe Wooden, one of those two getting cut.
Yeah. I think there is a chance. You know, I really think Nazir Stackhouse to me has shown more than Brinson, and that's not. I haven't been there. I haven't been on the sidelines. I think Tim, if he was here, would have probably a better recap than I could give you. But I just think that, you know, they're very hesitant to give up on their draft picks, and I was real high on Carl Brooks. I know a lot of people were. We've had Colby Wooden show up in certain situations. I'm pretty sure that both of them have blocked kicks in certain, you know, game time situations. So while I'm not ready to see them go, I think honestly I'd have to give them more of the type of like grace that I give like third years, you know, and second year guys. Like I'm here rooting for LVN. I should still be rooting, you know, for Brooks and Wooden. So I think it's more likely that not both of them, but I could see it.
Yeah. What do you think, Emilio?
Yeah, that's a possibility that I think it would come
down. I'm sorry. We did break camp with 5. I apologize. We did break camp with 5.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a possibility. If we're dropping one to try to make space for him, I would probably lean on Wooden, though I wouldn't like that just because he has been working hard. I think that he does deserve a shot in there. But, you know, just following, you draft one, right, you're going to want that player on there. And then you kind of see, okay, do we have more with, you know, Stackhouse than we do with Wooden? Potentially. If he keeps showing up like that, you're going to play yourself onto the field depending on how you show up in practice. I think that's a complete possibility. I'm sitting somewhere around
65%.
65%. That's what
So I'm cool with it. I would love to have them both, but you always have to lose somebody.
Yeah. Elijah Gwynn says Sterling Sharp walking out right now. Shout out to him on a legendary career cut too short. Love to see it as he's obviously they're having a Hall of Fame game tonight.
First player to catch for back-to-back years of 100 receptions. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
See,
kind of bigger body receiver too. He was the the TO before TO, if you will, right? That kind of build. Now it's a damn shame that it's being overshadowed a little bit. What's going on with his brother Shannon? That news breaks that he's released by ESPN for all that. Literally the day that we start the celebration, essentially for the weekend, leading into the weekend of Sterling getting his long due credits. So that kind of sucked. But when you got a knucklehead brother doing knucklehead things, it's something you got to deal with too, I guess, right? So moving along here. So introduction to the rookies. Let's just talk about them a little bit. A pair of Georgia rookies, Warren Brinson and Nazir Stackhouse, are making an impact on the defensive line. Player backgrounds. Warren Brinson was a 6th-round pick from Georgia, right? Look at these PFF grades, guys. So starting in 2020, 44.5. He jumps to a 67.7, then a 72.3, 79.1, and then a 73.9. Notice that 79.1. That's that range that we were talking about, where going into his final year in college, he was considered a first-round talent, right? Nazir Stackhouse. Right. And then you've seen him sink out of sight as the year went along. Now, in 2024, finishing with a 73.9, that ain't that bad. That ain't a bad grade at all. So there is his PFF grade. AFAM's mom in the chat says, Spammer's more consistent than my probation officer. Unbelievable, man. All right, let's look at Nazir Stackhouse. Now, this one kind of surprised me. I'm sorry, Warren Brinson. I got him mixed up with Stackhouse. Warren Brinson was not the one that was projected as a first-round pick, okay, the year before. I apologize there. So we talked about his PFF grades. Nazir Stackhouse was the guy who was projected as a first-round talent going into the final year of his college career, okay? In 2020, a 59.8, then a 65, 73.8, fell back to a 70.5, and then his final year in college jumped all the way up to a 75.2. So he actually had a better year in 2024 than he did in 2023. I think 2022 was what really put him on the map for everybody. But when you look at their size comparison here too, one of the things I will say, Warren Brinson seems like a little bit better pass rusher than Nazir, and Nazir is more of a run stuffer. As you see an 83.1 run stop grade there, or run defense grade, I should say, for PFF, as where Warren Brinson's was a 75.5. When you look at their size, Warren Brinson 6'4", 310, and then our boy Nazir Stackhouse, according to PFF, 6'3", 320. So that's how they shake up there. Obviously, they got a shared history here. They were roommates as freshmen at Georgia, played their entire college careers together with the Bulldogs, and are now lining up next to each other on the defensive line, obviously running with some of the backups there in camp. Current roles and performance, both are getting work on the reserve defensive line units. They have stood out, especially against the run, by clogging middle or penetrating the backfield to disrupt plays. I know we've seen several tweets come out of camp that both Warren Brinson and Nazir Stackhouse have been pretty damn good against the run at camp. Brinson's shown flashes in the pass rush ability as well. Stackhouse is working on the pass rush after primarily focusing on run defense in college, playing that true nose tackle position. I'll just pause right there. Anything you guys have gleaned from it after seeing the PFF grades? We'll start with you, Jacob. What are you thinking? Anything else changed there in terms of your mindset?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't realize that both of them graded out as well as they did. I don't know if I maybe missed it or if it just didn't register with me the way, especially Brinson. That was very impressive to see. You know, we love progression. That's kind of my big thing. And same thing with Nazir. I really honestly think that there could be a chance that both of these guys could. Yeah, that's the thing right here. I was just going to say, I don't feel like that any one of them is going to pass waivers. I was just going to say that. Thank you, Doc.
Yeah. As Holmes MD once said, Green Bay would be insane to let these guys go. Neither would pass waivers. I kind of feel like you got a better chance of Kobe Wooden clearing waivers than you would those two rooks. You know, what do you think?
Words out of my mouth, Clay. I really do. It's nothing against Wooden. Yeah. I just think that's your better option at this point. If you have these two guys and they're showing out that much, you're going to get. You're hearing about them in the news. People are talking about them. They're going to want their hands on him. If you've already had Wooden, he's gone through potentially. Yeah, he gets snagged. But that's another thing where you could go and say, hey, Matt Orzich, we might need you to take go kick rocks for a day or two. We'll bring you back here. But, we just need to get this one last dude on our 53 when we make those cut downs. And making the roster, I think that's a possibility with TJ Slayton kind of sliding out of there. We don't quite have that sort of body style. So I think that him that being his forte, I think that's something that we could look into bringing him back. Yeah,
for sure. H.E. Soder says big men are scarce commodity. As Ted Thompson said, the good Lord made very few of those big guys, right? Like they're not just falling off trees. So very, very good point there, Soder. Coach Lynn said, I'd rather let Zane Anderson go and keep both with Brooks and Wooden. I'll say this, Coach. The safety room's in a lot better position, I think, than interior defensive tackle, So I think that's a very solid point there. And then, of course, Deadfish says Wooden is not the same type of player, much smaller, 40 to 50 pounds. Here's what's crazy, Deadfish. You go back and watch the tape last year, you see Carl Brooks and Wooden playing a lot of one-tech in that nickel 4-2-5, which is the nose. surprised the heck out of me. So it's like, now Wooden obviously hasn't been as healthy as Carl Brooks, if my memory serves me correctly, but whether he's undersized or not, they're putting him in at the one tech. So it's more about in terms of deployment as it is body build, body size. That's the way I see it anyway. I could be wrong, but all right. So Nazir Stackhouse's quote on adjustment: I got to be prepared in those moments. Stackhouse said of the adjustment, when we're doing 2 minute, like I can't just be lackadaisical on the sideline. I have to always be expecting coach to call my name, because they're not just asking me to stop the run here. They're asking me to stop the run and do a little bit more on the defense. So I love that he's identified that, like, hey, look, at any point they can need me in there on that nickel set, right? So that's very, very important. Enjoyment of the reunion. The two players are enjoying sharing a huddle. Again, Brinson's quotes on partnership. It feels natural, honestly. Brinson said of playing alongside Stackhouse, I'm really happy that he came here. And then another quote, we push each other to be the best we possibly can be, but that's my brother. I never had a brother growing up, and then being roommates with Stackhouse was like having a brother. Now, it's really cool. If you talk about pipelines in terms of recruiting players from high school to college, like specifically give you an example with UT being right down the road here, just about an hour away. It's a lot closer to Emilio. One of the pipelines they've got right now is a school called Baylor, right? Baylor School in Chattanooga, and you're starting to see more and more prospects churn out of there. Why are they doing that? Because you got guys that were potentially teammates, but they're still going back to the high school and giving back and helping work with the coaches and working out there and everything. You got this just ongoing camaraderie, as opposed to let's pluck this guy from California and let's get this guy from New York. Let's throw them in alongside each other and expect them to play for one another right off the bat. There's something to be said for that. And you're actually seeing now, this is a really cool story. I talked about it briefly before, and we got confirmation through all the media. Pretty cool. I had this information 2 weeks before the media got it. But Peyton Manning has now officially enrolled Marshall Manning, his son, into Baylor. And people say, oh, they're coming back to Tennessee. Yeah, they were living in Colorado because, he's still involved with the Denver Broncos. So he brings his son all the way back across the country to go to Baylor. And now you're seeing Tennessee fans start to connect the dots and go, oh, it sounds like Marshall wants to be a volunteer. So that's going to be a really cool storyline. And he's got to go out and play. It don't matter who your dad is. If you can't play ball, you can't play ball. But that's just another example of, even at the college level, to keep that chemistry going and that camaraderie. Does that make sense, Jacob, how you want to kind of keep guys that are familiar with each other, familiar with programs, how they're coached up, and just kind of keep putting them in the same environment together?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it makes total sense to me. I actually, like I've talked about, when I was a sophomore in high school, Craig Urbeck went on to play for the Badgers and start, I think, for 3 seasons, if not 4, followed by his sophomore teammate, Eric Vandenheuvel went to Wisconsin. Both the guys were absolute studs there. Urbeck actually got drafted by the Bills and then ended his career with the Steelers. So, like, it makes sense. The guys that actually have played literally right next to each other or in the same line and the same lineup for years. It makes all the sense in the world that you want to keep them together.
Yeah, definitely. Emilio, you got anything else on this, man? The Georgia connection down here with these guys?
Love that brotherhood, man. And it's not just those two. You add in Quay, we had Eric Stokes. We've kind of gone to that well. We've talked about Goody going to the well before. But it's kind of the mentality, that drive of, with the G on your head down there, you got the same one up there, different colors. Let's still have that family mentality. Let's still build. Let's still chase after the natties. And then Super Bowls now. I think that's what it's all about. And that brotherhood you make in camp, rooming together, all of that. There's, you're not breaking that. So those two have their, have each other's backs for sure.
Yeah, like Emilio,
I got some live news to report.
What you got, man?
The Lions, on their opening kickoff, fumbled it, and now it is the Chargers' ball inside the red zone nearly.
That's it. We got the North this year, boys. It's over.
It's over.
Love it. Thank you for that breaking news there, Jacob. We officially have football, boys, in 2026. 25, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Looks like his knee may be down. Could be down. They're going to review it.
Of course.
Well, at least we get to see all that new stuff, right? They're talking about the laser first downs. You got the cameras now everywhere, so I'm excited to see all that.
Right. All right, let's move it along, guys. That fumble wasn't very gritty, Ron Sample says. All right, let's move it along now to little little camp update from today. What we did was we're just going to run through and just look at an overview of practice. This got me excited, as you guys can see here. Hopefully. Look at our boy out here. Look at not number 81. Look at the background, number 83 back there, gents. Who is that? Savion. Really excited, man. Really excited to see this dude play in the preseason. So
I thought Geronimo was running that little quick slant right
I know
there.
it, right? First thing I thought of too. Yeah. So obviously we got Savion Williams back at practice to a certain extent out there catching balls. I think he could be a sleeper, Jacob. I don't know. How do you feel about him in fantasy, man? I'm sure not a lot of people are on him. Do you think it would be worth it, or do you stay away from wide receivers in Green Bay in fantasy?
No, honestly, Clayton, I shouldn't even say this out loud because obviously I'm in a fantasy league with a bunch of players here, but Savion Williams, and I've heard it from multiple guys that I really trust. He's one of those guys you take with the last 2 or 3 picks in the draft, maybe even the last pick in the draft, because he is the type of difference maker. When you're in a massive pool, especially if you're trying to win these big tournaments in like DraftKings, Prize Picks, Underdog, whatever it may be, you need to do something that differentiates you from like the bulk of that fan base or that contest, for instance. So like a guy like Savion, a very small niche of people would probably have. And if for whatever reason there's an injury or Matt LaFleur's like, I really love this guy, and he's just a touchdown monster, which I really do think he could be and will be eventually. But if it's out of nowhere in this rookie season, that's the type of thing. He can be a league winner. You always look for 1 or 2 players that no one else has, or not the bulk of people have, that absolutely blow up.
Got it. Good stuff. Mike Berry says, "Good evening, everyone out on the pontoon listening to PTA."
Nice.
Man. Let's go. That's how you
need to be right now.
To wind down the summer like that, man. I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to fall too, boys. So I can't wait, man. Get the air. I mean, we're supposed to get a little bit. I think we're supposed to get in the lower 60s here soon, Emilio.
Are we?
Yeah, dude. The second it cracks the 50 mark, when it gets into the 50s, there will be smoke coming out my chimney down here in Jonesville.
We're going to have like 3 weeks of 90s in September.
We will. You're right. I'll cut the air conditioner on and burn a fire. You know what I'm saying? I ain't scared. So, Jacob, get on your spot there, bud. We got spam in the house.
Oh, I'm watching the game.
Oh my good golly gosh!
Trey Lance just started.
Did he really? That's good. I didn't know he was still around. All right. So Packers practice number 7 breakdown, just a quick overview. Some of this might be repetitive, but we'll just go rapid fire through. I'll pause in segments and get your all's take. Green Bay Packers conducted their 7th training camp practice on Thursday, right? Coach Matt LaFleur stressed the need for composure to prevent penalties in games, highlighting the team's emphasis on executing the little things correctly amid occasional feisty exchanges. Is that what y'all call it down there at the office, Jacob? Feisty exchanges when they
it's more bloody, but yeah.
Oh my god.
Pete, all
right, not like that.
They
got rings on, man. They got rings on.
It's all good. Injury updates. Speaking of bloody injury updates, here we go. New injuries. Wide receiver Jaden Reed exited midway through practice. The wide receiver Sam Brown left toward the end. Now, I did see a video of Jaden Reed and Dontavion Wicks like competing against each other on the box on the sideline, so I don't think it's anything serious with Jaden Reed. Right, ongoing injuries. Wide receiver Christian Watson, which we talked about with the knee. Running back Marshawn Lloyd with the groin. It sounds like he's probably going to miss about a week. Did you guys hear anything different on Marshawn Lloyd? That's the vibe I'm getting. Is you're looking at about a week, and then hopefully he'll be back a little later in camp. What do y'all think there?
The way Josh was talking, I was watching the Sports Center. They were interviewing Josh and Jordan, and then Rashawn and Kenny. They were just kind of talking. It's going to be a not as bad for Marshawn Lloyd. And then when Matt was listening in his presser, he was like, well, and then kind of looked over to the side and he goes, yeah, we're making progress there. I don't think it's going to be too bad. I think you're right. About a week, maybe 2. But yeah, he's running. I mean, dude is just like running through barbed wire, man. That's tough that he keeps getting caught up on it.
Yeah. So also out linebacker Colin Oliver. Notice it says linebacker there. Why? I wonder why it got picked up like that. Because again, you guys know how I do this. I go through and comb the interwebs using AI for any information we have on what's going on. That kind of caught my attention a little bit. We haven't heard anything about him playing linebacker, right? And I know he hasn't been. That's one of the things we wanted to see in camp was like, where's Colin Oliver going to line up, right? And he's been hurt, of course. So I don't know. Just keep your eye on that for sure. He's got a hammy in there. Go ahead.
I was going to ask Jacob, did you listen to the Goody presser? Did he say that they were trying to get him more at linebacker? Were they trying to say that Colin Oliver, they wanted to work him in a little bit more at linebacker? Or was that half, or am I just thinking crazy?
Honestly, I don't want to say definitively because I watched a ton of interviews the last few days and they're all kind of blend together. But it kind of worries me that honestly, we haven't seen a lot from him. Like, I haven't heard anything from him. Has he been injured this whole time? Is that what he's doing?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's a Jitterbug.
Oh.
Didn't they say out of the gate he was going to play him at linebacker? That's what I thought I heard. And in one of the interviews, I feel like I heard him say, "Yeah, we're gonna look to run him at linebacker for now." But we do like his versatility, I think, is where Goody was trying to go with it.
I personally hadn't heard anybody say it, but you guys know when we watched the tape, I was kind of leading that charge. Like, man, I wouldn't mind to see him play a little stack, as opposed to just defensive end. So I didn't know if I just kind of put that in my own mind there. Sometimes I hear what I want to hear, if that makes sense. 7-0 Chargers. Deadfish giving us the update there. Appreciate you, Deadfish. All right. Returning players, wide receiver Dontavion Wicks with the calf injury returned, but didn't finish the practice. Left guard Aaron Banks with the back returned. Wide receiver Savion Williams with the concussion was limited to individual drills, as we showed the clip just a second ago. So seems like guys are starting to get a little bit healthy, right? The Jaden Reed thing ain't nothing to worry about. Sounds like Marshawn Lloyd's essentially out for a week, and we should have him back. So I don't know how you guys feel, but I think we're in a really, really good spot when it comes to injuries. Now let's talk about Jordan Love's performance today, okay? Quarterback Jordan Love delivered a solid outing, going 12 of 18 in passing with 1 touchdown. He excelled in the third down period, completing 4 of 6 passes for 4 conversions, including a 15-yard throw to Malik Heath on 3rd and 13, and completions to Luke Musgrave on 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 3, plus another to Heath on 3rd and 2. In the 2-minute drill, Love completed 2 passes for first downs, including a 22-yard gain to McCole Hardman, who continues to flash at camp, on 3rd and 10. But the drive ended with an incomplete desperation pass after he extended the play, with the offense unable to score while trailing 28-21. Another thing I've heard on Jordan Love this training camp, guys, he's looking really good, really mobile, moving around in the pocket. Jacob, that was one of the things we were a little concerned about coming off the injury, obviously. Sounded like Jordan going to be back to the 2023 version where my man was not afraid to scramble and create those secondary windows to get the rock down the field.
Yeah, I think honestly that's probably what I'm most excited about with his personal progression in game. We all know that he can hum that tater. Now I want to see him tuck that tater and take off and, maybe take like 3 to 4 to 5 yards. He just seemed like he was so timid, and I don't blame him for that. Obviously, when you have any kind of leg injury and then a groin injury, it's trust me, I know about groin injuries, guys. You can't always, make a full comeback. Sometimes it takes a while. And with all seriousness, I really do think that when he does have that mobile ability, it's going to be a different type of Jordan Love. Yeah. Hey, Half.
All right. Emilio, the player of the day, though, Luke Musgrave. Everybody was raving over him today. This got me really excited, man, because you guys, I want Luke Musgrave to work out so bad, Tight end Luke Musgrave stood out with 2 key plays in third down period. On 3rd and 7, he secured a perfect pass from Love against tight coverage by Xavier McKinney and Carrington Valentine, controlling the ball while hitting the turf on the sideline. On 3rd and 3, he made a downfield catch by scooping the ball from his ankles. Musgrave praised Love's accurate throws and mentioned his offseason activities, including getting married, starting Pilates with his wife, and attending flight school. He was noted as potentially overshadowed by Tucker Kraft last year, but showing reminder of his talent. Sounded like he had a pretty darn good day. Obviously got married in the offseason. I know there's going to be some fans that jump his rear end on the flight school stuff, but, I don't understand. As fans, I don't understand why we expect these guys to not be able to do what they want to do in their off time.
Right. As long as he keeps his finger away from the propeller, we're good to go. I don't think we're going to have a problem. Seriously.
Every time we say that on this show, Emilio, the listeners go, what the hell are they talking about? Don't worry about it. All right, go ahead.
Inside
it is. And I'm telling you, Luke, I mean, the amount of marriages too, let's just knock those out. I think, it's a busy year for the boys. You get married in the off season, you come in, you have a good season, you make your way to the playoffs, you make your way, you bring the Lombardi home all in 1 year. We'll call 2025 a win. I love that. But yeah, the fact that Musgrave, he said he was talking about trying to get, his base stronger, trying to get his legs stronger, trying to, have better footwork so that he can block better, so that he can, get upfield, help the team, not be on just for passing plays. And he also, knowing the offense better this year, he was talking about they had a zero check where, they were bringing the heat, bringing an all-out blitz, and you lose a guy to that. You have to keep one in to protect. You got to keep the back end or keep the other tight end in to protect Jordan Love, but he's still out there running the route. I got to know what my check is. Am I the hot guy when we go to a zero call? If so, all right, hit my quick slant, hit the drag, whatever, and be that relief valve. But just being able to process that and still make these plays, I'm happy that he's out there and progressing. Absolutely.
Yeah. Jacob, you got anything to add to the Luke Musgrave talk here, man? Anything at all?
I do, yeah. That was one of the interviews that I watched. So I thought I was going to break some really cool news, but nope. Clayton had to steal that thunder from me. The flight school, he stayed in the winter, is what he said. And in the wintertime, he stayed in, did the flight school in the afternoons, and then he worked out with the weights coach. I could get his name. I don't remember if he said it actually in the press conference, but then he talked about how he did go on to get married, and then he started working out more closer to home where he was there. But I just thought that was really cool. I personally love the flight school thing. I see the mustache, maybe happening, him maybe looking more Top Gun. Yeah, yeah, man, I'm down.
I'm pretty sure he was working out. Did he say he was working out with Travis Kelce too? Like they were working out with the same guy?
For real?
No, it was McManus. You stole my thunder again, Emilio.
Sorry, Jacob.
They got some personal trainer, and believe it or not, for whatever reason, Brandon McManus and Travis Kelce had been working in the off season. It was prior to him starring in the filming of like the Happy Gilmore thing, so they said that, oh wow, they both look really great. They look really improved, and yeah, it was cool. It was really, really.
So
weird,
you're saying that McManus
cool.
doesn't?
Don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
All right, so moving along, play of the day, Romeo Doubs. Wide receiver Romeo Doubs made a spectacular touchdown catch on 3rd and 3, leaping over slot defender Javon Bullard for a 20-yard reception before running the final 15 yards to score. I've seen that. It looked like the throw was a little bit underthrown. You've seen Romeo Doubs turn around, adjust, jump, and then literally reach over top of Javon Bullard and pull it in. Javon Bullard, again, had his back to the quarterback, so it's not like he, you still got to get your head around. You got to try to make a play on that ball, but it's camp. Dobbs explained they had practiced the play earlier, crediting Love's touch on the ball and celebrated exuberantly in the end zone with teammates, underscoring the value of celebrating big plays in camp. Offensive line developments. We talked a little bit of this. I'll rattle through it real quick. With the offensive line getting healthier, Jordan Morgan saw increased reps at left tackle, blah, blah, blah. Rasheed Walker started at left tackle for the first 2 series with the starters. Then Morgan took over for the next 3. Sinovich praised for Morgan. I like what I'm seeing from Jordan. I think that's the quote we hit on earlier. So we'll just skip on past that. Practice highlights and drills. Running backs versus linebackers. They featured route/coverage and blitz drills. Christian Welch prevented a deep completion to Amari Johnson. Amari Johnson. Chris Brooks beat Isaiah Simmons on a crossing route. Me no likey that, Jan. Defensive wins by Jamin Johnson and Jalen White. Israel Abanikanda? Anyway.
Abanikanda.
Abanikanda?
Yeah.
Man, you nailed it, dude. Jacob been practicing these names. Abanikanda had a strong protection against Tyron Hopper, who later beat Brooks and was celebrated by Edgerrin Cooper. Josh Jacobs won against Isaiah McDuffie. Emmanuel Wilson recovered after an initial shot from Cooper. All right, young lineman one-on-ones. Anthony Belton had wins against Baron Sorrell, who later countered. Aaron Mosby used swim moves and speed for victories against Belton. So Belton kind of an up and down day there. It sounds like it's just nice to get him into the drills. You know what I mean, Emilio? Because if we don't get Belton out there and get him some reps, we're going to have to depend on your guy, Travis Glover, and I'm not about that life.
Oh, and we're not worried about that if we can get Travis out there. So, yeah, I'm totally fine. But, yeah, seriously, with we just need to get these guys reps at this moment. As the the games start coming together. Okay, we're going to see. I mean, we're going to get a lot of Travis Glover in the preseason, and I can't wait for it. We're going to be breaking down his tape. We're going to be cutting it up, and
such a douche.
but no, we have a young line. We just need to, make it happen. When I was listening to that the Sports Center thing, Matt LaFleur, he's the most winning. Or they have the most wins since he became head coach in the NFC. The Packers do. So he's, that's consistency. That's showing up, starts at the line, and then it branches out from there. But our young O-line is ready to roll.
Yeah, and with these team drills, Jacob, we got Devontae Wyatt started with the tackle for a loss on Chris Brooks. Rookies Warren Brinson and Nazir Stackhouse performed well, with Stackhouse stopping Amar Johnson on a run and Brinson recording a tackle for loss and pass rush. But for receivers sidelined, Reed, Wicks, Savion Williams, and Brown. Young receivers Cornelius Johnson and Julian Hicks stepped up. Hicks caught deep crossing routes from Malik Willis and Taylor Elgersma. Johnson's catches were highlighted by Malik Heath. Man, Malik Heath's a dude. I think he's making this roster, man. I don't know. Jacob, he took advantage of every opportunity he had last year when you think about it. And then you go back 1 year prior where he couldn't crack the 53, and he caught essentially what should have been the game-winning touchdown against the Giants on the road. Like, I don't know how you feel about Malik Heath, but that's a dude. You have a third and sixth play, and you got Malik Heath isolated in man coverage. I like my chances of Malik Heath bringing that ball in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I've been a Malik Heath fan since we saw him literally blocking the guy to the water cooler, and just the aggressiveness that he played with. I thought, wasn't he an Ole Miss guy, if I'm not mistaken? And the way that he came in, he had a cockiness about him, but he backed it up. He's very physical. I think that, again, that's a guy that I would say he'd be a number 2 or a number 3 on many teams in the NFL. I really do believe that. So now I'm just worried that he won't make waivers or make the practice squad and all that kind of stuff. So we've got a lot of guys. I think Cornelius Johnson has shown that. I think that Julian Hicks for multiple years now has shown that he's a guy that can hang in the NFL. So I really did mean what I say when we have practice squad / UDFAs / waiver wire guys that come out of nowhere and just absolutely perform here in Green Bay. So I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
No. All right, new linebacker Jared Bartlett signed Wednesday. Stopped running back Israel Abanikanda. Got it.
Yes.
All right. I had to go back to Daryl's pronunciation there. Abanikanda. So it was signed last week for a short game. Defensive ends Lucas Van Ness and Rashawn Gary pressured Love on consecutive plays. Van Ness was active, and Gary beat right tackle Zach Tom in one-on-ones. So that fires me up. What is going on with Jacob right now?
I think Jacob's tweaking.
Jacob's mute button is just
going off. He must have set his headset down on the mute button and then ran into the other room to check and make sure that he had his outfit for tonight. But
unbelievable.
Hey,
let's take him off for just a second in case something goes awry. We may hear gunshots over there, and I don't want it to be live on the stream. You know what I mean? So, all right, next. So LVN and Rashawn Gary obviously having a pretty good practice. I love Gary beating Zach Tom one-on-one. We know what Zach Tom is. We know I personally know what Gary is, but it's just nice to see him winning those one-on-ones and knowing he's going to pick up where he left off last year. Quarterback Taylor Elgersma struggled in individuals but completed notable passes under pressure, including a bullet to Johnny Lumpkin and a sideline catch to Cornelius Johnson. Of course, kicker Brandon McManus, guys, streak's over. He finally missed a kick. He was 5 of 6 on field goals today. So, I mean, he's something like – he's kicked – I want to say there's over 30 attempts now, or right at 30 attempts. He's only missed 1. That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. And he was talking in his presser. He said that one was probably the best one that he had hit too. For the whole camp. And so you just never know with that. But I love how in his presser he was talking about being 100% business when it's when he gets out there. Yeah, he's cutting it up with Danny and Matt Orzic and having the time. They have a lot of time off when they're working, not doing that. But he said once I step out there, I'm going to make that kick. It's all business. Dan, he's happy that I think this is one of the first times where he's got the same crew coming back, so he's got Dan Holden. Dan knows where he wants it to be tilted with the win, without, how far do we want that spun, again, the same snap. So all that is huge. the consistency, the repetitiveness. And I'm glad that we've got that squared away. I mean, kicker talk was fun last year, but I'm much more interested in, we can talk about Travis Glover making the roster a lot more than we can going through this wash of kickers. So I'm happy with it.
Could not agree more. J. Cole says, damn it, now we need a new kicker. So there you go. All right. Rapid fire one-on-one drill outcomes, okay? And this is from Paul Brettle's notes. So shout out to Paul Brettle. I read his article earlier, and he had a bunch of notes and one-on-ones. I believe that's who I got this from. So I want to give credit where credit's due there. Kingsley Enagbare beat Rasheed Walker. Kenny Clark beat Jordan Morgan. Monk beats Wooden. All right, so Jacob Monk with a solid rep there against Wooden. Carl Brooks beats Sean Ryan. Alexander beat Telford. Ryan beat Brooks. Cox beat Tom. All right. Jeez, Pete. Walker beats Enagbare. All right. Wooden beats Monk. So there's a rebound there. So they're kind of, each got a win there. Wyatt beats Jennings. Kraft beats Williams. Brown beat Junior. Milton beats Shepard. Hardman beats Bullard, which it sounds like Hardman. I haven't heard anything negative from Hardman all camp long. I don't know about you, Emilio, but seems like he's having a pretty good camp. Then Heath beats Kamal Haddon. Fitzpatrick beats Anderson. So that's just rapid fire, some of the one-on-ones there. Mm-hmm. Anything you want to add to that at all before we get ready to wrap up here?
It's a battle. I like seeing the offensive guys win this one just because one-on-ones like that, it's really set for the defense. You don't have a guy next to you. You don't have help, so you can go two ways. You can really set them up. The battle between Monk and Wooden, good. And, the fact that your boy Jacob over there is beating Tom, that we love to see that because you want to push if he's our best player, you want to push them. If anybody, is our best player, we want to push them, try to make them better. The one-on-ones will do that, and just glad that they're getting after it, trying to push it. One person you don't hear from, probably because he had just an elite set, was Mr. Travis Glover. So
I noticed we didn't see his name at all.
Clearly.
Dan Mullen with the super chat. Thank you so much, Dan. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, I can't watch your show as much as I want to. Have you guys talked about our cornerback depth recently? We haven't, and I think that's a good thing to kind of press into for our last segment here, Jacob. And we'll get your take if there's anything else you want to add to practice today as well. But, boys, I don't know what you guys are hearing, but it sounds like Bo Melton's going to make his roster. Is anybody else hearing the same thing? Do y'all get the vibe that this dude is going to make the roster as a cornerback? I'll let you go first, Jacob. It just feels like he's starting to become a slam dunk. You're hearing the coaches talk about him more. Now, I said this about Christian Welch last year, and he got cut, right? But I don't know, Jacob. What do you think about Bo Melton since Dan Mullen did the super chat asking about the cornerback depth?
Yeah, I actually do believe that he will make this team, and I think he'll make it as a cornerback. And the way that Hafley talked about him, the way that Coach LaFleur talked about him, it to me did not sound like coach speak. I think they mentioned the way that he was, again, so willing to make the position change that it really showed what type of team guy he was. I believe I mentioned it yesterday that Team Hafley was quoted saying, like, that is how you win. You win with guys like Bo Melton. Yep. And I don't think that type of comment he would say, to the public and then let, him get cut kind of thing. And they also mentioned how his back pedal looks good, his change of direction, the way that he has attention to detail. I just think that at least is a 5, you know what I mean? Maybe a 4, but a 5, a 6, even if we keep 6. And the fact that he is that break in case of emergency type wide receiver as well. I just do think it's going to happen. And he's great on special teams.
Yeah, special teams value is just huge there too. Go ahead, Emilio.
Right, being able to move a guy that was your first 100-yard receiver of a year, being able to move him to the defensive side, still have that offensive ability. Already knows the offensive playbook. I think you were hitting on it yesterday, Jacob. Knows where the routes are kind of going when you're setting up a guy. Know what you're looking for, and I'm sure that him and his brother have gone against each other back and forth. That's exciting, Clay. We'll take that.
Detroit just threw an interception. It got returned all the way back to their 3-yard line.
That's a shame.
And if you go to Twitter and you just type in Hendon Hooker, Detroit Lions fans are losing their mind. They were expecting Hendon Hooker to play tonight, and he is not playing at the moment.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I mean, with that, we love that the Lions are struggling. Perfect. And Bo Melton is not. So he's out there putting in the work. Hafley knew that it could take, a little bit of time. Hafley had told everybody that. Goody knew that. And I think Goody was talking about how even though, we moved him over there, he saw the, the 3-cone, he saw the shuttle, he saw those times that would kind of lead him to believe that you would be able to handle that. And there's the mentality of, if the team needs me at corner, if the team needs me at corner, perfect. It's just like Elton, I'll slide, I'll take a sacrifice for this team. I just want to be on the field. I just want to play. Bo's got that mentality and that drive.
Yeah. All right. So when we look at the rest of the cornerback room, just real quick, since that was the super chat question, we'll just kind of bring it home with this. We take a look at it here. If you drop that chat down, thank you so much. So right cornerback, they've got Keyshawn Nixon. Left cornerback, we've got Nate Hobbs. That's what it's looking like. I need to update these two. Remind me tomorrow before we go live, guys. I'll go get us an update on these. So you're looking at Keyshawn Nixon and Nate Hobbs on the outside. Along with in the slot, you've got Javon Bullard, who's running as the number 1 slot right now. Okay, so those three pretty much a shoe in, right? That looks like your starters. Carrington Valentine coming off the bench there as your next in line outside corner, if you will. That's 4. Micah Robinson. It sounds like he had, if I remember correctly, I think he had a pretty good day today as well. Now we'll see what happens there. Obviously, 7th round pick. You got Kalen King, who's listed here as the backup slot corner. I kind of feel like the backup slot corner will probably be Nate Hobbs. You would rather have, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I would rather have Nate Hobbs kick the slot and Carrington Valentine come onto the field outside as opposed to Kalen King just plugging right into the slot. Do y'all agree with that or no?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say that's probably our best bet so far until I see a little bit more of any of them out there. But, I feel more comfortable Carrington being on the outside.
Yeah, and obviously Kazir Brown has been cut, right? Yeah, Bugs Brown is no longer part of the team. So I will get the updated depth chart there from our lads a little later tonight. Jacob, is there anything else you want to hit on in terms of what happened with camp practice today? Again, thank you for that super chat. Dan, we appreciate you, buddy.
It's not necessarily what has to do with camp per se, but it is a cool stat that I thought I'd share with you guys. And I think I got it from Wes Hodkowitz and the Unscripted Packers podcast, because those guys are great. I just happened to be able to tune in at a certain time when they were live today. And what they had mentioned was the whole plus 43 or whatever that commentary was by the guys in practice. What they were referring to was when the NFL record, I believe, at this point is the plus 43 turnover differential, which obviously has to do with how many the defense takes away, but also I think is matched in with the offense being very proficient kind of thing. Well, that was the best defense had that ranking. The plus 43 turnover differential was the 1983 Redskins. Guess who was on that team, guys?
Tell me it was Mark Murphy.
Mark Murphy with 9 interceptions.
65%. 65%. That's what we
9 picks.
Yeah, that's a great pull there, Jacob. I'm glad you brought it up, man. That's awesome. It's so cool to go back and kind of look into the past and see exactly how things shook out.
Right.
I'm telling you, there's so much you can watch. Like, Emilio, you can just go on YouTube and just type in a rant. There's nothing better. Type in, I don't care what year it is, type in 1987 Packers. Maybe in a horrible team. You'll pull up full games on YouTube, and let me tell you, there's nothing more aggravating than sitting down and watch an old school game, and they never show you the time. They never show you the score. You're like, I have no clue what the hell's going on right now.
Yeah.
I'm just watching football.
That's what Jacob does when he goes to senior center. I mean, just fire up an old game, and we sit down and watch it. He already knows the outcome.
Yo, I say, hey, girl, you want to do some cribbage? Yeah.
No,
so explain to me. Go ahead. Sorry, man.
No. Go ahead, Clay.
No. This isn't important. I promise.
Okay. So all I was gonna say to that was, Mark Murphy had the 9, and it was Jacob. Wasn't it the next closest that has ever gotten close to that was like low 30s? You know, 30 or 33, something like that. So it's really been something that people have tried to chase after. It's just not maybe as doable in this day and age. If we really were to chase that, that's perfect. But why not set the goal? You set the goal up there. If you chase it and only get to 40, I mean, we made waves. We're the second highest in NFL history.
Yeah, it's awesome. It says Mark Murphy played in the 1983 Monday night game where the Packers won over the Redskins 48-47. I remember watching that one on YouTube. here recently. That was just an absolute shootout because that was the reigning champs, if I remember, or the was that the team that would go on to win that year, right? I believe is what it is. So it was kind of cool. Them like the David knocking off the Goliath there. And Respect Oranges here, Jacob says Jacob works for 10-year-old butterscotch candies. Is that true?
No lie detected.
There you go.
Get ready to go.
Got to get paid somehow, man. Got to get paid.
Yeah, but
somehow.
even to that point, Clay, I was watching some on YouTube. The next one that popped up was 2024 Jordan Love highlights. Was tearing it up in the Phillies game, and then I completely forgot we're down 21-0 to the Vikings in week 4, 3 or 4, and
yeah,
he goes down and scores with like 5 seconds left in the second, brings the team all the way back to 28. Or what was it, 28 or 30 to 31 at the end of the game. Obviously, we didn't win, but just the team is there, the fight's there. All of that is prominent in this team, and everybody that got on for the interviews on SportsCenter or anything like that, Matt, Rashawn, Kenny, all of them, 1-5, 1-5, 1-5, 1-5, and a fingertip away from being 0-6. I mean, that's key this year. I think we're gonna absolutely go after the North. That's where you start. That's where you could win your division. That's where the basis of everything. So that's being, I think drilled into their head at this point.
Yeah, and the big thing that's happening around the league right now is it's a copycat league. So you're seeing more teams press into what Philly did to win the championship, right? And what Philly does is they play bully ball. They're built up front on both sides of the ball. What do we do? We're looking to build on that defense. We went and revamped the offensive line a bit. We got bigger there. We got, obviously much, much larger than we normally draft and sign at the offensive line position. So I think you're going to see a little bit more of that. And you got to try to tie that into what you were saying, Emilio, how you win the North. To me, that's the recipe for beating Dan Campbell's Lions. Is you got to be strong up front. You know what I mean, Jacob? Like you got to be able to handle your business in the trenches against a scrappy team that is the Detroit Lions, whether we hate them or not, right? Like you got to acknowledge that they play the game the right way. They play it kind of a tough version of football. Now we'll see what they can do without their defensive and offensive coordinator. But yeah, I think that's what kind of the league's kind of drifting towards bully ball. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. I mean, you look at the teams that we've had trouble with over the years, Niners of old. Now we got the Lions, we got Philly, absolute dogs and road graders up front on both ends of the ball. And, it's something that I think that while people are sitting here kind of snickering, and myself included, I was a little bit, hostile with some of the draft picks. I think it's because we're slowly shifting our team into a certain type of build that we need to be while we're still having guys play out certain contracts that, maybe don't fit that certain thing we're trying to do right now. But when it all comes to fruition, which I think it will this year, it is going to be something special. I really do think that on every aspect of the offense and the defense, we have room for extreme hope, not just hopium, not just, hometown stuff. I think that it really could be a special year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Yep. You guys are off the chain in the chat. Mike Berry says Clayton was listening to that game at A.O. Smith on my headphones with my Walkman. What's A.O. Smith? Any idea what that is?
Mm-mm.
No?
Is that an old stadium or something like that, or a restaurant?
I don't know, but I remember the Walkman. I do remember the Walkman.
I had a Walkman. Oh, yeah.
Is that with like the yellow headphones that kind of like wrapped around the back of the head?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
That's late version Walkman, but yeah. Oh, you want to see something? Here, I'll show you quick. Hold on.
Jacob's going to get out the phone where you just, here we go. Camera good.
Thought he killed the camera.
Hair spinning.
All right.
What do we got, Jake?
That's an old school cassette Packers Walkman.
Oh,
man, you
Look
can't
at these
hide
bad
credit.
boys. Look at these bad boys.
You can't hide credit. I'm just
that
telling
is clean, Jacob. That's
You'll never know the pleasure of making a cassette mixtape off of the radio and giving it to the girl. I'm telling you, man, that was.
That's what LimeWire was for, Jacob. You would just burn CDs and just leave them everywhere.
It's not the
Look
same.
at these old Walkman. I'm trying to think. Let me find the model that I had. I want to say this was more of what I had right here. This one, can't see my cursor, can you? Right here, this one. That's the one I kind of remember.
Oh, yeah.
Now, do you remember when the Discman came out, right? Where we started playing.
That one I actually had.
With the anti-shuffle? Oh, yeah.
They did not play worth a damn. I mean, you had to hold it and hope that you didn't bang it at all, man. It didn't touch anything, man. So, yeah, those are the good old days, man. Look at all these old models here.
Dang, look at that, Jacob. What do you have in there? What tape's in there?
It's a little Hootie and the Blowfish. Better hide your girl.
Just the tip, though.
Hey. Well, by the way, man, our boy, the former lead singer of Hootie and the Blowfish, man, that remake he did. What's the song he remade? The country song, "Rock Me Mama," like a wagon wheel.
Yeah,
he crushed that, dude. Absolutely crushed it. Every time I hear it, and when you guys hear him say Johnson City, Tennessee, that's where your boy's located right here. So you bet your sweet cheeks that thing gets played all the time here in town. J. Cole says this damn spam is off the chain tonight.
They better be subbing and liking every time they get in here.
I cracked up
all
with
these
your
new
comment.
accounts. I mean, they're putting Big O to that's a competition, man. Being able to replace it with another account immediately, that's impressive.
Yeah, for those of you listening on the pod, you didn't see Emilio get in the chat and literally tell NFL Full Season Live, who's been spamming us, hey, man, hit like and subscribe.
Please, come on now. That's like we've probably banned 10 of them at this point.
Are you kidding me? There's been 40.
Okay, well, Jacob, what are you doing to get us to 5,000 before family night? We're at 4.99 thousand. Can we get a couple subs to get us to? Can we get a couple subs to get us to 5K for family night?
Listen to this, guys. We have 19,000 returning viewers. Okay, last week, 19,000 returning viewers. I threw these numbers out last night. We're currently sitting at 4,991 subs. So we're about to crack 5K. Really, really excited about it. Appreciate everybody. Guys, that means that there's 14,000 people that are returning to the channel and going, this show sucks, but I'm going to listen to it anyway, right? And they're not subbed to the channel. So if you guys would just take a quick second, hit that sub for us. We would greatly appreciate it. And we'll try not to put Afam's mom back on the screen.
But the RAV4.
We've covered it all tonight, dude. We've covered the Walkman. We've covered Mark.
Okay, real quick on chicken cutlets. Throw the canola oil in the cast iron, get it heated up, medium heat. You got your flour bin, you got your eggs, you got your breadcrumbs, flour, eggs, breadcrumbs, flour, eggs, breadcrumbs. Boom.
If you guys are wondering why Emilio was late today, he was literally making chicken cutlets. He was ready to go and then ran away.
I can go get the plate. There's a stack of them if you want me to, and there's 4 left still cooling on the tray.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is you said chicken cutlets, and I heard them talking about it with Tommy Cutlets, right? When we played the Giants. I was like, what the hell's a cutlet? I had no idea what a cutlet was. No idea. And then I see this, and I'm like, oh, it's just like a breaded chicken breast? Is that what it is?
Real thin. Real
chicken
thin.
tendies, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
why do we call them tendies? Why do we call them cutlets? Is that a northern thing, Emilio?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
Makes sense. So there you go.
For sure. Cutlets are big in the city.
We call them dino bots down here. Now, somebody had to teach me what a dino bot was. I'm like, what the hell's a dino bot? And they explain a chicken nugget. It's a chicken nugget. All right, okay, cool. Say chicken nugget. Stop saying dino bot.
Well, do you get the dino bites, though, Clay, in the frozen
They're at Aldi. They're good at Aldi.
I imagine Jacob's got his G.I. Joes on the counter, and he's cooking them up some dino bites, right? Watching cartoons.
Oh, I know it.
My man. Y'all were watching cartoons. Dad had me watching Roadhouse on loop. That's just the way it was at our house. So we covered it all, man. We covered the cutlets too, right? Jacob, you got to cook one meal, man. We got a couple minutes here. You got to cook one meal. Like, hey, what is your go-to meal when you're cooking at home? It ain't got to be a 5-course meal or anything, but what's the go-to? Like, yeah, that's what I'm making tonight. What comes to mind?
I had it yesterday. It's just ribs. I went St. Louis style ribs yesterday. I usually go baby back ribs, but dude, they're so good. They're so good. And I'll eat the whole rack myself. No shame.
Oh yeah. There ain't a whole lot of meat there. You know what I mean? Just slam it on and take a nap, right? That's where it went. So, all right. I think we did good. Homestead a TV dinner, right? Yeah. AFAM says Jacob only knows how to make protein shakes. I believe that.
Got to stay strong for the mama.
Yeah. J. Cole said steak and potatoes, man. We had Logan's Roadhouse DoorDash to the house today. We had a little sirloin, a little sweet potato. I'm big on sweet potato right now, man. I'm hooked. I love it. I can't get enough sweet. Y'all like sweet potato or not?
Of course.
Yeah.
Emilio, you did not sell it, man.
Yeah, I don't eat sweet potatoes very often, but AFAM's mom said it was very good, and she enjoyed the dinner, Jacob. She's very happy that you cooked it for her. And because she had a problem with her car, I heard you jumped it and got her out of there.
We jumped it all right.
We jumped it. Yeah. Spark plug.
She said, Murph said, breakfast for dinner. Yes.
Oh, that is legit.
Mandy makes the best. Her nan, which was her great aunt that practically raised her, she made the absolute best breakfast. It's a tenderloin. She would fry tenderloin, thin sliced tenderloin. Do I call that cutlets, Emilio? Is that what I call that? Is that cutlet?
No,
Okay,
that's okay.
So thin sliced tenderloin, right? Fried up in a skillet, and then you make the gravy and the grease from the tenderloin, right? And homemade biscuits. Jeez, man. As soon as I got invited to her nan's house to eat when we were dating, I was what, 17? She was 15. I go up there and I'm like, if she can figure out how to cook like this woman, I'm marrying this chick. It's happening.
You know what that makes me think of? Remember the scene in Twister where they go to the aunt's house and she cooks up all that steak and eggs and they're piling it? Dude, that's my meal right there. That is it.
Yeah. All right. That's it, guys. We've covered it all. We did good.
We covered everything.
Yeah, we did. I can't believe that the viewer didn't drop further, but appreciate y'all. So let's go watch the Detroit Lions continue to get boat race here. They're down 14-0 at the start of the second quarter. So if you guys want a good laugh, just go on to X and watch the Detroit Lion fans crying over the fact that Hendon Hooker is at play. Would you say, Jacob, you got something, man?
No, I'm just laughing at the Lions.
All right.
He's living it up. He's got to enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it, guys. We appreciate y'all so much. The chat was on fire tonight, man. It's football season. I want to give a shout-out to King Tron, been a member for 7 months, and Mr. Dan Mullen with the Super Chat. Thank you so much, Dan. And, again, if you want to support the channel, the best way to do so is we got 2 different ways, okay? If you're only familiar with YouTube, you'll just look right behind or right below the video here. You'll see a Join tab. Join to become a member. That helps keep the lights on around here. It also gets you into our giveaways. We're going to be giving away an autographed Luke Musgrave rookie card this weekend, okay? So we'll take everybody who's a member here on YouTube, put them on a wheel, spin it, whoever it lands on, they are the winner. Also, the better way, in my opinion, to support the channel, it's $3 a month, whatever it is, and you can just get it for 1 month for $3. That'll get you entered into the contest for that month. But patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We got fantasy football leagues cranking up in there. We got everything that you see us share on the channel. I try to put it in article form on there so you guys have access to it first before we go live, so you can kind of get ahead of the game, know what we're going to talk about, that type of stuff. Also, we got questions for the show. We're going to hit those tomorrow. I've seen a couple come through there today, so we'll hit those. Anything else, boys? We good?
Duval.
That man, dude, he hasn't changed his haircut since he was a kid, right? Like, you could tell his mom gave him that haircut. Just comb it to the side.
It's a number 3 steel bowl, and you just pop that bad boy on there and just skim it.
Absolutely, man. He just hit it one more time for me, Emilio. Look, I need you guys to focus on the eyes this time. Okay. This guy just screams birth control. He ain't getting nobody pregnant.
Duval.
Didn't notice it before. Holds the one eyebrow up for an extended time, pops the second one up, no problem, and just keeps the Duval going like nice and smooth. I don't know, man. I'll take our coach. Man. Okay, real quick before we go. Pick anybody on the Packers coaching staff. You're going to go have a dinner with them tonight. Who's it going to be?
What are you talking about? That's my job.
That was perfect.
So you got to grab dinner with any coach.
And go to the half, bro. I don't got enough nice clothes for Matt.
Yeah, I'm going Matt LaFleur, dude. I'm going Matt LaFleur.
I think it's got to be Matt.
I would try to cheat. I would want Matt LaFleur and Adam Stenovich, and I would sign an NDA and go, listen, guys, I'm just a fly on the wall. Y'all chat it up. I want to just listen. I don't even have a question. I ain't got an answer. I ain't got a comment. I just want to listen to y'all talk ball.
Matt was saying some of that run game creativity came from Steno, like some of the different setups and everything.
Yeah. People look at Steno because he's a former offensive lineman, like, oh, it's all Matt. It's all Matt. I'm telling you, dude, Steno, I would not be surprised if he ends up getting a head coaching job in the next 3 to 5 years and goes on to be a great head coach. I'm telling you, because he's got that aura about him as well, where you could tell he can command a room, and he's got the pelts on the wall, so to speak. He's been in the trenches. He's played the offensive line position, right? He played at Michigan. You guys look at him and probably think, oh, he's not that intimidating. Go look at some of his footage from Michigan. He was a dog, dude. That dude, he was an ass kicker, no doubt. Jacob, what was your answer? You said half, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Me and Tim would be eating breadsticks with him and everything. You guys would be over there talking concepts. I bet you we'd maybe, it'd be.
Well, because the only thing that got me thinking of that was McMoney's interview when he was talking about it. He said that just being able to talk to Rich and talk football, not just kicking, not just about special teams, just being able to converse with the guy and all of the history that he's been through and what he's seen in his time in the league. I think that is awesome. You can learn so much from these guys. They've been there before. It's about who you know, not what you know. And I think we got a kind of team of coaches that want to teach the players that. So,
yeah. I was trying to get you guys a shot of Steno here. It's hard to decipher through them, though.
Now, here's one of Rich.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Our other, the one that Jacob wants to go out to eat with.
Thick.
And then our boy.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Also said in his interview today, I'm also not a physician. I think we need to kind of tie those two together. And I think we could make something happen there.
There you go.
Is that we play that clip of him saying he's not a doctor and he wanted to switch it up to be a physician.
I tell you what.
All right, let me see. I'm trying to get you guys a picture of Steno here real quick. Then we'll get out of here. I've said we're going to get out of here. I sound like a Baptist preacher.
I think we've been saying that for the last 25 minutes. Exactly.
I've heard that.
It happens, man. What do you want me to do, Jacob? We got football on tonight, bro. And, of course, the images are full. I can't add another image because we got this in here. We got this in here. We got this in here. Let's get rid of Tom. Sorry, Tom. Yeah,
that's a good one. I'll tell you what, if we got to kill some time, I hate these spam bops with the fire of 10 suns. I am so annoyed by this. I would much rather have mosquitoes just buzzing me all day. Ooh, that's a big guy.
Right, that's Steno right there. Look at Steno. You kidding
me? In the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, dude. He ain't playing no games.
Yeah.
Come on now. All right, there you go.
It's a mean man.
All right, let's get out of here. Appreciate you. Everybody, have a wonderful evening. I'm going to bed. That's what I'm doing.
Do it.
There's the Forrest Gump wave. We're out. Bye, y'all.
There we go. We out.
Bye, guys.